Hello friends, I'm Christopher. Today is Saturday the 29th of June 2024. We're in the throes of summertime and I figured I'd show you the garden. So let's start up front with the meadow that we planted on the terrace. Mixed bag, right? These blue ones have been beautiful and the poppies have been good. Now we're getting some other colors, but it's got to be weeded from the grass. I think it's looking pretty terrible down under the shade of that tree. So work to do. Back here, the tulips are done, and I planted some canna lilies, and they're starting to come up, but only about a 50% germination. So we'll see what becomes of that as time moves on. We're going to do things a little faster today and in reverse order, which means I'm going to go over to Phyllis's garden now, which is on the eastmost side of our house. It is a partial shade garden. It gets about 4 good hours of sun. But it's a little bit warmer than normal because it's right next to my neighbor's concrete driveway, which is what I'm walking on currently. First off, you can see the window boxes are just so beautiful. Red geraniums, nothing like it. The daisies have opened up. That's the big thrill this week, and I wish you could smell it back here. It smells so good. I would also say that the creeping geraniums and the astilbe is a highlight. I think that's such a pretty plant. Such a pretty plant. Everybody's loving these. Apparently flies right now are big fans. And what is this? We got the yarrow. That'll be doing its thing real soon. And the milkweed, which is an interesting shaped flower. Probably the next time we do some filming, we're going to see all of the heads on the hostas open. I think it's nice and charming. This is such a good space. Little bonus, I really liked how the sedum spread in the last year or two. Moving along the side, the lamb's ear filled in nicely. Really grew here on both ends. We'll notice that's a theme. The phlox will be opening up in July. We've got some coleus that decided to open up back there already. And this butterfly weed should probably be opening, well, this week, right? That is awfully close. 4th of July is right around the corner. The catmint is done, as is the yellow loosestrife. Oh, our pots look great, don't they? They always do. We've had such a wet June, like 8 inches on record, something like that. Very good time. Now into the new garden. Just beautiful, really. Sleep, creep, and leap. This is the creep year, and for the creep year, it's pretty darn full. I am very satisfied. The sedum here will have some blooms on that real soon. That's coming along nicely. Those just got finished. The columbines have closed up. Oh yeah, see the coleus opened up here too. I had a lot more blanket flower last year. I don't know what happened to it. And this astilbe opened up. This plant, the astilbe, was about twice as thick over in Phyllis's garden, and I thought, okay, big enough over there, so I split it and put that chunk here. And just look at this lamb's ear. My gosh, that filled in. Like quadrupled in size in a year. Very exciting. Some daisies opening. Coneflower back there will be opening up soon. I'm happy that the grasses have started growing, right? 2 feet. This is like 4 feet tall, 3.5 feet. Same with the zebra grass in that corner back there. Can't wait for that to open up. The autumn joy. And these have been going for so long. I'm just very impressed. I know that's a weed among the yarrow, but I think it's charming. I wanted to talk about cherries. Actually, I wanted to pick my cherries yesterday. Did the birds get to them? Bastards. All right. So I had more cherries dangling in here. You can kind of see through. Poop. Well, so be it. No cherries really on the other tree. Next year, it's probably going to be a banger year. 2 years for sure. Everything is coming along well. Just look at the Macintosh. They're all growing nicely. I love that they've started to blush in certain places. I think last year I had 2 apples on this tree. And the pears are coming along great. Again, they've blushed. Just look at that great color. You know, by comparison of my fist. We got a couple months left to go on these. Ditto for the peaches. Can't wait to see what the harvest looks like with this nice, warm, moist weather. Boy, that really is something. And the same can be said for all these other trees. We've been harvesting raspberries every single day for the last week and a half, about a quart a day. You can see they're stunning. You want to see my neighbor's new landscaping? Gosh, the people ripped out everything. The grass that they reseeded is coming in pretty quickly, pretty aggressively. I'm impressed. That's all I have to say about that. I have two kinds of raspberries. The second kind is called a black jewel. And this time of year, for 4th of July, I always think it looks like a firework exploding. They're ready to be harvested. When they're black like this, that's ready. And they're big. Just look at that in the hand. Spectacular. I like them. The kids don't. And I love tiger lilies. Just for the record, I know a lot of people call them ditch lilies, and they can be invasive, and a lot of people don't like them. They rip them out. But I think they're charming, and we don't get a lot of orange in the garden. So this is a nice time of year. I incorporated them into my, fresh cut flowers inside. This is such a fun section. Let's just talk about it for a moment. All right, it's physically outside my garden. You can see there's my property line. And this is where a giant old mulberry tree was growing. And the stump has been ground, but for years I've just been using this as like a compost, throwing anything out here. And then once upon a time I threw some sunflower seeds out here, and that, we got that germination. So this has become a nice wild mix. We've got our lilies. These are Jerusalem artichokes, which are a kind of sunflower. So they're like yellow, way late in the season. You can see, looks like we got some coneflower. Maybe that's some sunflower. This looks like a wild sunflower, and it's all just wilded, gone wild. This is raspberry. This is weed, weeds. Not weed. I don't grow weed. But the point is, it's a nice space, right? Look at it back there. It's a perfect buffer. I feel no qualms throwing extra stuff, that I need to compost back there. You can't see it. It's broken down. That soil is great, and we get wildflowers. I took down the door because I went to open it, and then it just ripped right off. So after 7 years, I'm afraid that this part of the door that went like this, I made it out of plywood, some composite, and that was a bad choice. So knowing what I know now, I'll do something different. Hey, look at the tomatoes and the tomatillos. Fantastic. It's been moist. It's been hot. They love it. This year I had, it's got to be rabbits or chipmunks. They just destroyed my bean and my pea crop, which admittedly got in a little too late too. I think by the next time I do a video, I'm going to have all of these stakes and trellis ripped up. And I'm contemplating ripping out these beds too. So we'll see what my impulsivity does. I still have yet to harvest my currants, and it's definitely time. I don't want them to go too long. My goodness, they are beautiful though. I finished harvesting the gooseberry. So when you're done with this, go rewatch the last video, because I harvested the rhubarb and I harvested the gooseberry, and it took a long time. And cleaning it out is a lot of work, but it's worth it. Now's the time of year when things like the vining plants, the watermelon and stuff, they just start to go crazy. Gosh, the compost has really gone, all that water. This has just been from the last couple days for the rain, so I let this sit. It's a little stagnant, but when I need to water something, I go with it. Cucumbers going. Again, the bush beans, don't know what to do with them. Ground cherries looking good. I want to show you this. It's a gooseberry picker. I saw this from an Englishman's channel. I don't remember the name of the channel. I have a couple gooseberries over here that I didn't get to. Let me show you what it looks like. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. Let's see if I can. Right, get the section, put it in there, pull. Like, game changer for how I'm going to harvest gooseberries in the future. Let's put this together with scrap wood, and I gotta make probably a berry comb for the currants. And new to me tool, I think it's gonna be a big deal. I put a pool in for the kids, so if you hear some screams, they're having a lot of fun. I've talked about what I want to do with the strawberries. I don't know if that's happening anytime soon, taking care of this, but we shall see. Let me put down my gooseberry harvester. Beep. Right, zucchini and summer squash, and then spaghetti squash. So zucchinis are looking good, right? They're nice and firm. It's been a couple years since I planted zucchinis because I had squash bugs, an infestation that went from year to year, and I'm happy that so far nothing's coming up. Oh, it's noon on Saturday. Can you hear the sirens? That's how they test them in our area. And the spaghetti squash, I planted here so that it can grow all over, grow between my feet. That'll be good as time goes on. Later today, my eldest daughter and I are going to harvest all the kale and the chard and what lettuce the rabbits haven't eaten, right? And then I'll cook it for, boil it for 2 minutes, ice bath it, so blanch it, freeze it, and then we'll use that in smoothies and make some minestrone for supper, that kind of stuff. And in this bed, I'm going to plant jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. Just pumpkins that make a really nice shape because they take about 110 days. So you get all of July, August, September, and then by the middle of October, you're harvesting pumpkins, and that's when you want to carve them anyways. So we'll have lots of vines in this area. And like I said before, the tomatoes just look spectacular. And I shouldn't disregard the blackberries that are on that side of the fence. On both sides of the fence, really. Good time for blackberries. So things are coming along nicely. Oh, one last thing to say. So I experimented with a meadow, right? Not cutting this grass. And it's been interesting. I didn't know what to expect. I liked this much more when the grass was erect. With the wind and moisture, it's just flattened. I don't like the look of it, and I think I'm gonna cut it. So I'm glad that I tried it. I'll leave it long, but not like this in the future. Probably just I'll crank up my lawnmower and maybe mow it once a month, and then just bag it. So yeah, some good thoughts there, but I do still think this could be a candidate for some shade meadow flower mix in the future. We shall see. How's your garden growing? Hope things are going well in your neck of the woods with temperature and rain content and life in general. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment to tell me what's exciting in your garden, and we'll see you next time. Happy gardening. Bye.